My melancholy memories. Where do I even begin? Actually, I begin by disclaiming that I might ramble because it branches off. But anywho, melancholy came out when I was in high school, and it was my senior year. And no, was it my senior year? Junior year. Um, and I was just instantly like, this rocks my world, right? Um, Especially just the way that it flowed. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, to the and to this day, there's just nothing like it ever made rock wise. Um, if it was meant to be a concept, it definitely did that. But anyway, um, so I listened to it quite a bit. Actually, Bodies was a song that my best friend would come pick me up for our games our senior year, and he'd honk. I'd jump in, pop the CD in, and just get ready to rage and just get ready to go smack some heads and on the football field. So that was the first like really solidly rock hard instilled memory from that. Um, I mean, every game never failed. That's what we listened to. Um, and then that Memorial weekend, so the next year, um, Memorial weekend, we had this little tradition of going to this campsite and whatever, and we were young kids and just get half barrels and just get trashed in the woods. And obviously that meant a lot of day drinking, and so we're just you just have music on all day randomly, and XYU came on, and I commenced to trash the campsite. Like, I was grabbing empty half barrels and tossing them around, and like, and in the eyes of a jackal I say kaboom, and like, Gow! Doo-doo, doo-doo, boom, boom. And I'm just like, ah. Like, and it was over, and I was like in a puddle on the ground, just like spent, like, ah. Oh my God. Everyone was looking at me like, I like climbed up on the top of my friend's Bronco, like I was, so that's another memory. Like, every time I hear that song, I'm like thinking back on that. Um, and then, unfortunately, my mom passed away when I was 19, and played Mayonnaise first, but I had two songs I wanted to play, so I played Mayonnaise, and then I also played Stumbleline. Just Mayonnaise just resonated with me lyrically, as far as when I started to think about my mom, and then Stumbleline just is so melodic to me. Like, I just was like, I want to hear this, you know? So those two were my choices, and it was funny because when it got to Jukebox Fuck Up, the funeral director like cut the song off. I'm like, really? Like, but anyway, Mayonnaise played all the way through, so guess that's what matters. Um, but then, like, the time before and after her funeral, and I think this is why I ended up picking Smashing Pumpkins songs, and especially something off of Melancholy, was just because I would just sit and listen front to back over and over and over again, because legit that was like the only thing that was keeping my mind from like dangerous places in terms of like really wanting to like hurt myself. Um, and for that, I will forever be grateful. Um, and I commenced when Billy finally got an Instagram page. I commenced to let him know how much I love him and how what he's done for me on every occasion that I could find until he blocked me. I was like, well, guess I maybe said I love you one too many times. Actually, what ended up doing it is he had said that someone contacted him saying that, when Future Embrace first came out, he hated it, but in revisiting it, decided it was pretty good and blah blah blah. And I'm like, you should have told him all things change, because that's the name of one of the songs. And then he blocked me after that. And I don't think it was that necessarily, and maybe the fact that every day I was telling him how much I love him and especially what Melancholy meant to me. But yeah, I'm blocked. But anyway, like I said, I would ramble. But yeah, use this for whatever you will. Um, I will use this as an opportunity, though, to just say thank you one more time to, you know, Darcy and Jimmy and James as well. All my focus has always been on Billy, because he's, the primary driving force behind everything. But I mean, it was all a sound too, and Jimmy and James and Darcy helped create that. So, just thanks to everyone. Um, I, I, it's not hyperbole to say that I don't know if I would be here today without that album. Yeah, I question the fact if I would have gotten through that time of my life as a 19-year-old who, just lost his mom unexpectedly, if I would have really, made it to the place I'm at today. Um, you know, and I mean, even the Aeroplane box set, like, I sang pennies to my babies to get them to go back to sleep, you know, like Set the Ray to Jerry, like Cherry, like those are songs that when they come on, I freeze. Like, because my brain forgets everything that it's doing and is just like, you know, just warped through the years of where this album has, stamped in posts along the memory highway, you know. So yeah, like I said, again, I will ramble just because like I said, it branches out in all different directions in my brain when it comes to this album. And then when you couple that with the fact that there's a box set with even more music from that era, I mean, Pasticcio Medley, I've said to many people, is like albums worth of riffs, just back to back, like just torn through, like just unused just riff after riff after riff. It's like Jesus Christ, and some of it is a fucking all out audio assault. And then it just stops and moves on to the next thing. You're like, man, that why couldn't that have been a song? Like, oh man, that was a good one, you know? Like it's just albums worth at the end of a double album, at the end of a box set of B-sides. Like after all of that, after 2 albums worth of music and multiple albums worth of B-sides, after all that, then you have the Pasticcio medley that goes on to just blast through for like, 20 more minutes of just cuts of riffs. Like it's prolific. Like that era is prolific for the amount of music that this band produced. So yeah, long story short, thank you from the bottom of my heart.